I wish that it was just a preview for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I wish that they were just like doing a fun new way to preview cards with the pre-release kits, honestly. It's sad. It's sad that they just kind of fucked it up that heavily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, our top story on this, the Lord's 109th episode of the Duels of Dorks podcast, if you went to a Lorwyn pre-release, there was a non-insignificant chance that you got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle card as your promo in the pre-release kit. Every single rare and mythic was on Reddit. It was crazy. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to the Wizards of the Coast lawsuit as well that pertains to Magic the Gathering. Very interesting stuff.
Spicing up.
Yeah. We got to spice it up. But first, we got to talk about this, the Duels and Dorks podcast, a Magic the Gathering podcast where we talk about all the stuff going on, all the sets, the cards, everything you need to know to be an informed player of Magic the Gathering.
All the universes beyond you could ever picture.
Exactly.
You could ever imagine.
Exactly. Can't wait for Hobbit Tribal. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be good shit.
Hey,
Halfling.
By the way, speaking of universes beyond, just real quick to touch on this, I was perusing the other day and was like, hey, you know what? I want to build Jaws. I want to see how much that commander is because I love Jaws.
It's bad.
The non-foil, the $30 product, the singular Jaws card is $109 on Card Kingdom.
Yeah, it's bad.
So to
it's
everyone who mass bought that and then scalped it on the secondary market, I hope there's always a rock in your shoe. I hope there's a razor blade where you never expect it to be, and I hope you cut yourself shaving every time.
Damn. Every time?
Every time.
Even the pubes?
Anywhere.
Especially?
Hey, it's not always dudes that are scalpers.
It's
whenever
not only
shave,
dudes that have
wherever
pubes.
you shave. Whatever. I'm looking dead at you.
I didn't do it.
I know.
I ain't scalping the Jaws.
This is not you.
Could you imagine?
This is a side tangent.
Could you imagine me scalping the Jaws secret lair, knowing how much you want it, and then not selling you one? That's next.
Trust me, like that. I literally turned to my wife and I was just like, "You remember that Jaws secret lair I was talking about a while back?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, I wanted to buy just the main card because I mean, having all of them would be cool, but at least the main one." And she was like, "Oh yeah, that's nice. How much is it?" I was like, $110. She's like, "What was that?" I was like, $110. She was like, "How much was the release?" I was like, $30 for like 5 cards. She's like, "They are smoking crack." This being said, Wizards, hey, maybe you should go back to print on demand.
So along those lines, they just revealed and released a Fallout secret lair drop of a couple of secret lairs. Some of them referencing the Fallout television show.
Yes, I did see those.
One of them kind of like a cool upgrade for the Mothman precon, which was by far the most popular precon. And I don't know if it was just lack of interest or if they had like improved the process a bit because I purchased none because I wasn't interested. Yeah. And I think there were a lot of people that weren't interested, but at the same time, the website had a different look to it. It had clearly been revamped a fair bit. The little walking man in the progress bar was gone. Yeah. They killed him. They took him out back and the Pinkertons killed him. And not only that, secretlair.wizards.com. Fallout Beyond the Vault, Fallout Greet the Dog, foil editions available, Rad foil edition, Welcome to New Vegas foil edition, all the non-foils are still there, the full, you can still get everything.
Now, do you think that's because they based it more on the show and not everyone's super jazzed about that? Because it's more of like a real life kind of creeping into the card? Like Walter Goggins is now on a card.
I think it's a confluence of a lot of things. Obviously, well, for one, people just don't have as much disposable income to throw away at cardboard like this.
No.
Start of the year, it's after the holidays. Like, a lot of people are trying to recover from that. Lorwyn just came out and people are super hyped for it. The biggest thing to me that stands out, the Mothman one, the rad counter foil one. Wise Mothman, Mesmeric Orb, Mind Crank, with how popular that precon was.
Oh, yeah.
I would think that one would be one of the first ones to sell out.
You would think.
Welcome to New Vegas hilariously had a Universes Beyond reprint of a Universes Beyond card, which is hilarious.
Oh my God, we've reached that point already.
we've pierced that veil. And then Beyond the Vault 33, or Beyond Vault 33 has the show specific ones.
Do you think they had to be very careful with that
cards.
wording while they were doing it, because they used to have a From the Vault type deal?
Oh, I'm sure.
And someone was
sure.
probably like typing it up, being like, no, Beyond the Vault.
Beyond Vault 33. The biggest thing, I think it is a confluence of there's less interest. I'm confident that they're making more of them because they realized they could be selling more of them. Mm-hmm. And scalpers being scared away from Magic product after Spider-Man burned them, Avatar burned them, and then a lot of the secret layers in that time frame also kind of burned them as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's an amalgamation of all that.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, a lot of the stuff in the ABC secret layer, still relatively priced. I mean, if you got some foils, you got some big hits, but
yeah,
I mean, nothing there when I was looking through it was like insane-o style expensive. Jaws, very much so. Mostly just the Jaws card, though. The rest of them were kind of meh.
The last, like, truly valuable one was the Demonic Tutor. The Artist Series, Kieran Yanner, I think it was. And I think the Ghost of Tsushima PlayStation one was also pretty valuable. But that's just because that's just because Jin Sakai is like $100 card for some reason, much like Jaws.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, it's fine. It's not like anything crazy. It's a fun card. It's a fun character. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Maybe it's just fatigue, because people were like, hey, we just got Lorwyn, TMNT, and we're already seeing previews of other stuff.
Now,
it is January. Still January, first month, first time in. Yeah. And they hit us with Lorwyn with flubbed TMNT spoilers into a secret lair, and they're already announcing stuff further down the line.
Yeah. But before we get to all that, the Duels of Mandorks podcast posts every other week on Apple, YouTube Music, Spotify, podcast services around the globe. You can get the video here on YouTube, youtube.com/dungeonbros. You can go to Patreon, patreon.com/dungeonbros. You can join for free to submit questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas to the program. You can join at the $5 tier, early ad-free access to all the podcasts, which is fun. Posts on Friday.
Little behind-the-scenes features.
Goes live on the Monday. Not too much behind. I probably should do more behind the scenes. And then $15 a month. Get your name read. Sometimes at the end of the show. Sometimes whenever I feel like it. Because I need to remember Brandon Vole. The man, the myth, the legend himself. He sent me a message on Patreon and I totally forgot to respond to him. He said, I got the email for it and I was like lying in bed, like getting ready to go to bed. And I was like, I'll reply to that later. And I'm just now remembering that.
Brandon Vole, please. We are only human.
That's on me, man. That's on me. I flubbed that one. I flubbed that one hard. Go to SCGCon in Cincy and I'll see you there, Brandon. That'd be cool. Anyway, speaking of SCGCon, if you're going to SCGCon in Cincinnati, I live in Cincinnati, so I'm going to be going there. Sam will likely be joining as well, and some of our friends from the area. We're trying to convince Wyatt to crash on my couch. We'll see. We'll see. Gen Con in August as well. Whatever. We're going to have a bonus action. We haven't had a bonus action in a while. Extra episode of the Duels of Mandorks podcast with a special guest.
It's a good get.
It's a good get. I'm not going to say. We're not going to say.
Yeah, we're going to keep tight lips. You just got to tune in to check it out.
Loose lips sink ships, as it were. If you want to get it early, it's going to be posted earlier than normal on the patreon.com/Dungeon Bros. Anyway, let's get into the big one. Well, actually, no, this isn't the big one. Let's go to the first
one. Real quick, who are you, Connor?
I'm nobody.
Oh, okay.
I ain't nobody. I'm one half the Dungeon Bros.
Yep.
Featuring my man here, Wyatt, a.k.a. the typical Gemini.
You know it.
I have in giant bold letters, intro the fucking show, and
it's okay. We get right on it sometimes, and then, you know.
We hit the ground running with these shows, so we just kind of, the wheels spin, and then we end up where we end up.
You know, much like TMNT, sometimes we just work our way into a pre-release kit for a set we're not even supposed to be there for.
The Lorwyn pre-release kits. In the pre-release kits, as I previously mentioned, in the promo little plastic bag pack, some people were getting rares and mythics foils from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set that is coming out in March.
Gasp.
Now, that, of course, got a lot of people speculating, oh, are they like advertising for the next set? That would be an interesting way to do that, including promos in pre-release kits for a set that comes out. That could be a cool, they could workshop that. That's something they could do. They could slide in, like, everybody gets the same extra promo card for an upcoming set. I think that could be cool. That's some space they need to explore with these pre-release kits.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Wizards marketing team, hit us up.
I mean, I'm just saying. You can have that one for free, honestly. Where the problem comes in, and this is my conspiracy theory here. I think it is entirely because they decided they wanted to go away from the pre-release stamp foil cards, and now they're just like standard regular foils, and some stuff got mixed up because it's way easier to do that when you don't have like a special print run. I have no evidence to support that whatsoever.
Yeah,
no evidence. But because of this, all pre-release, the special pre-release promos, they're foils of all the rares and mythics from the set that you are pre-releasing. And when you have the TMNT ones bleed in, it's not a small collective of cards. It was all of the rares and mythics were on Reddit. Every single one from the whole set.
Yeah.
It took Wizards a couple of days to make a comment. They had the weekend. It was a whole to-do. But they released the article on Turtles, Fairies, and the Lorwyn Eclipsed Prerelease, where they talked about how much people loved the Lorwyn pre-release. They were excited. They were very happy for it. And they addressed the elephant of the room of the TMNT cards. And in what I would say is an unprecedented move.
Unprecedented?
Rather than saying we're not showing you the cards yet and trying to pretend like nothing happened, all of the rares and mythics from the main set of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set are available on their image gallery, and as such, they're available on Scryfall and everything else, so you don't have to go finding it on Reddit anymore. What does that mean for the preview season for TMNT? Do you think this is going to like negatively affect their ability to promote this set? Are things going to get lost now because they don't have as much meat on the bone?
I feel they're going to have to start leaning really, really heavy on ambassadors for that in particular, because, yeah, you're not going to get that kind of, like, slow drip, like, week by week leading up to it that you usually get out of a set. I actually think this will hurt it even more in the long run, because all the hype for Ninja Turtles was basically kind of in this huge wave of hype for Lorwyn. And it's kind of got mixed in, and now I think when it starts coming up, people aren't going to be as excited about it because they already kind of know everything. And it might even be kind of stale by the point that we get to it, because people are already going to be brewing with this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to find what's good, what's not good, and, you know, they're going to find the bits and ends that are, like, really broken, but everything else is going to get kind of pushed to the wayside and eventually forgotten about till someone talks about it in a budget deck or something, and people are like, oh yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing.
Now, I want to point out the specific wording where they said they showed all the rares and mythics from the main set. We are going to have some commander decks associated with it as well, so they still have cards to reveal there. The Turtle Team Up bundle thing, 4 60-card Magic decks. They're like pre-made. You get some packs. There's probably some stuff they could reveal there that was kind of similar to like the Avatar Jumpstart cards. But unfortunately, you look at like the pizza bundle, which is like is just packs, and then the bundle is just packs, and then draft night is just packs.
Hey, fucking pizza.
You know, obviously we're going to be getting all of the cool booster fund treatments out of collector boosters as well. So they're going to have things to show. It's just like the core cards that really drive interest are already available.
Right. Like I said, I just think it's going to hurt it in the long run. We'll definitely be able to see.
Absolutely.
And just a side pick, real quick. I think it's so lazy that they got rid of the little like stamp.
Oh my
for
god!
Pre-release stuff. It's just like
it's so unnecessary.
5 or 15 cents, like really crushing y'all that much or something. Like it couldn't have been that much.
It's completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. The only TMNT card that I want to talk about at this juncture is Splinter's Technique, because it's a 3 and a black sorcery, sneak for 1 and a black, which is basically kind of like ninjutsu, sort of basically. And then it's Demonic Tutor.
Yeah.
In the rare slot. So that seems cool. Can't wait for that in standard. I'm sure that won't affect anything at all.
Forget standard, like Commander.
They're
going to throw that in everything.
It's going to go great. I love it.
You have a game changer.
I have a game changer with restrictions. I like when they take those like super powerful cards, reprint those effects, but make you jump through some hoops to get them.
Yeah. Well,
I respect that. I do
too. You know? Because they never want to do like a straight up reprint.
Exactly.
They want to save that for the secret layer.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Lorwyn. We got to get to the big one here. The big kahuna. Longtime listeners of the Duels and Dorks podcast remember a couple years ago, Sam and I talked about Altifox, which was this kind of activist investment firm that was buying up a bunch of shares in Wizards of the Coast to try and Hasbro. Sorry, buying shares in Hasbro. You can't buy shares in Wizards of the Coast. Buying shares in Hasbro to try and get enough of a percentage to get themselves on the board and pressure the board into spinning off Wizards of the Coast. Because they're propping everything else up at the company, and it's not good for Wizards of the Coast. It's not good for long-term profits. It's just not good.
No.
Fast forward 4 years. Hasbro CEO Chris Cox and execs are sued for alleged securities violations. A group of shareholders of Hasbro stock have filed a federal lawsuit against the CEO and company executives for what they claim are, quote, breaches of their fiduciary duties as directors and or officers of Hasbro, unjust enrichment, waste of corporate assets, gross mismanagement, and abuse of control, as well as a violation of the Securities Exchange Act. It is a 76-page complaint filed in the U.S. District Court of Rhode Island. Joseph Crocono and Olton McLow. I only want to bring up those names. Those are the named plaintiffs on the lawsuit. Joseph Crocono is, from what I could find on LinkedIn, assuming that is the same Joseph Crocono, I do not know, based in Texas. Altifox, also based in Texas, like a couple hours down the road. I have no evidence. Again, I have no evidence to support this. I'm just drawing some. I'm fucking Charlie. I got the red string.
Yeah, just going at it.
I'm on it. You know,
Pepe Silva.
So, the crux of this is surrounding Magic the Gathering, which the plaintiffs argue, and I would be inclined to agree, is Wizards of the Coast's most important product, and by proxy, Hasbro's most important product that they release.
100%.
Given the nature of, this is a quote from the lawsuit, given the nature of Magic's secondary market, the rate at which new Magic sets are printed and sold directly impacts the value of existing Magic cards to collectors. As such, the overprinting of new Magic sets would reduce the value of existing Magic sets. Although analysts and investors consistently inquired as to whether the company was in fact overprinting Magic sets, the individual defendants repeatedly denied such speculations. It also referenced a report by Bank of America in 2022, which we covered on the podcast, which found that Hasbro was, quote, overproducing Magic cards, which have propped up Hasbro's recent results, but are destroying the long-term value of the brand.
Absolutely.
So let's pause there.
Okay.
The overproduction of Magic product is like one of the big conversations in the community right now. Do you think that there is an argument to be made that the overproduction of sets could be so harmful to the long-term growth of Magic that it is a breach of fiduciary duties? For those of you that don't know, a board of directors, executives, they have what is called a fiduciary obligation. That is a legally binding obligation to provide value to the shareholders, to the owners of the company that they are executives for. If there was not that protection, you could get a board of directors that want to tank the company and get it out of business just to screw over shareholders, which would be illegal in this instance. Do you think that overproducing Magic devalues the brand so much that it is an infringement on their fiduciary obligation? Do you think it rises to that level?
I am going to say yes. I believe that if they argued right, you could meet that. However, I think that the timeline might be a bit of an issue, because we will continue to see levels to this, where there will be highs and there will be lows. Like, I don't think we'll ever see another high as, say, Final Fantasy. That doesn't mean they won't try. But if you're constantly pumping out, like, this is a good year as like a testing the waters, because again, we are getting, what is it, 4 or 3 out of the, it's like 4 out of the 7, right, are Universes Beyond sets. That, I feel, is a very big contributing factor to, like, not necessarily the death of Magic, but you're kind of killing what made Magic Magic. You know? It's one of the things that people talk about where, like, we don't spend enough time with the planes of Magic when we actually go to those planes. And I know that not everyone loved the 3-block set, but I think now people would look back on a 3-block set fondly in comparison to what we get today.
Well, there are people that don't know what a block is anymore. There are Magic players who don't know what that even means.
Right. Yeah. And I feel that by like, it's basically like this. Imagine shotgunning all of your Magic the Gathering ideas. Like, even if we take Universes Beyond out of it, shotgunning all of your Magic the Gathering ideas at a wall. Eventually, you will count up all the bullets. Like, it's just bound to happen. And with the way they run through things, like, we've, you know, just think about all the stuff that we've touched on, but haven't gotten, like, a deep dive of. You know, we have a haunted house that's entirely a plane. Bloomborough, Kaldheim, the race in Aetherdrift, the change from Amonkhet to Avishkar, you know, all these, like, little one-off things that could be expanded upon. Like, one of the things that got a lot of people into Magic, and I hear them talk about this, is actually the lore. The lore of Magic the Gathering is cool.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
One of the things that got me into it was Origins. Because I got to see, like, where all the Planeswalkers came from, their original planes, what set their sparks off, and then from there I got to dive into, you know, Zendikar and the Eldrazi, and that made me want to go back and look at when the Eldrazi first invaded Zendikar. And, you know, it just kind of leads into this whole thing, but now it's just like, boom, here's this, boom, here's this, boom, here's this. We might go back to this at some point. Boom, here's this, here's Ravnica again. Everybody loves that. Boom. Phyrexians, Eldrazi, Nicol Bolas is back, maybe. Ooh.
It's very ADHD in the we're going here, just all over the placeness. Right. Now, I don't necessarily disagree, but I do want to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here, because there is going to be a very challenging argument here to make, simply because top line revenue has only been going up.
Yep.
Secret Lairs, they've been printing more of them, and they've been selling out. The most sold most profitable Magic set of all time was last year with Final Fantasy.
Yes.
The argument that it's devaluing the long-term viability of the brand when in the short term it's been so successful is going to be a challenge. And that's something that is... Because when all of this stuff's going down in 2022, when they're getting this information, we're jumping ahead a little bit to the next point, them buying back a bunch of stock at a loss.
Yeah.
All of that happening in 2022. If you look at the timeline from 2022 Magic to 2025 Magic, line go up.
Yeah.
In every aspect, you know. Now, is it causing people to fall off of Magic the Gathering? I think we're probably a couple years away from really truly seeing the ramifications
100%.
of all of this.
Yeah.
I think you're still going to have a lot of mainstays that stick around, is the thing.
I think so, but I also think at the same time, like, if they keep going at this rate, like, some people, especially a lot of Magic the Gathering players, you know, you'll hear about, like, long time Magic the Gathering players, you'll hear about they have, like, certain moments where they kind of fell out of love with it.
Yeah.
And then came back to it later when something did pique their interest. I think that at a certain point, you're going to lose a lot of the long-time Magic the Gathering players to just other card games. Like, when you're introducing all these other IPs, you're getting them kind of used to, like, alternate possibilities of card games. If you start losing long-term fans, sure, you're going to replace them with some new fans, but is the trade-off going to be there?
There's one big problem with that, and when you look at the big TCGs, you only go to Pokemon if you like Pokemon or are a small child. Nobody really plays paper Pokemon.
Right.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like a combo player's heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Riftbound, are you into League of Legends? Digimon, are you into Digimon? One Piece, are you into One Piece? Like, Universes, maybe, but Universes is literally just Magic the Gathering if it was only Universes Beyond.
Right,
like,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like they're kind of like drip feeding it to you. Like
they don't really have a place to go, I would argue.
There's other TCGs out there. There's anime TCGs. There's, you know, like you said, the One Piece, League of Legends. If they put money into it, I think could be a contender.
But I think they're approaching it in the opposite direction that Magic Universes Beyond is, where Magic is this platform, and then they're sprinkling IP on it. Whereas you need to already be, for the most part, people that are playing Riftbound like League of Legends.
Yeah.
Or they like Arcane. Like, you're not having someone that doesn't know anything about League of Legends showing up and playing Riftbound. Usually, you're not going to have, like, Lorcana. The game's not serious enough. People don't care. It's like the first set was huge. Like, the debut set for Lorcana was huge, and then there was like one supplement a year later that was huge, and that's kind of it. So
I think another thing to take into consideration. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You go.
I was going to say, I think another thing to take into consideration right now with all TCGs is the scalpers market. Scalpers have infected every TCG.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
Absolutely.
And it hurts the players.
Except Yu-Gi-Oh!
Because of it. Uh-huh.
The only exception I make is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has not been affected by scalpers at all. And that's because they print their shit in the fucking ground, dude. Like, it's impossible to scalp Yu-Gi-Oh! Even, like, the cool collector's products. Like, they had a 25th anniversary box that was around the same time as Magic 30, and it was so infinitely better and cooler and more awesome, and you could get it for $40 anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just all in stock because they made a ton of it.
Well, I came from Yu-Gi-Oh! During a time when, like, staples, like, the staple cards you needed to have were, like... $40, $60, $90. So, like, it makes sense to me that they would want to print some of that stuff into the ground because you're essentially making the game. You're not playing against your opponent. You're playing against your opponent's wallet. Can they afford to have all the staples and synchros and XYZ summons and everything else that they need to be able to win? or are you just, playing against someone who can only afford to scrape together this much?
And there's a lot of people that make that same argument about Magic. The biggest difference, the floor to ceiling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a wide chasm.
Huge.
The floor to ceiling in Magic is wide, but it's not nearly as wide. Like, you can put together some budget brews that can compete at a very high level.
Am I going, if mono red is not your favorite color, let me still tell you, you could build a budget mono red deck, take that to any FNM, and at least have a chance. Good to go.
Yeah.
A chance. Because everyone's got to play until they get punched in the face.
Absolutely. So I hinted at this earlier. We'll move on to the next point in the lawsuit. This has to do with a claim that Hasbro, quote, caused the company, or the executive, caused Hasbro substantial harm by causing it to repurchase its own shares at an artificially inflated price. Quote, in total, the company spent an aggregate amount of approximately $125 million to repurchase approximately 1.4 million shares of its own common stock at an artificially inflated price from April 2022 to July of 2022, according to the plaintiffs. In total, this caused the company to overpay for repurchases of its own stock by approximately $55.9 million. Now, buying back your own stock is not an uncommon thing in a company. If they're trying to increase their share prices, one way of doing that is by limiting the number of shares available on the market, and by supply and demand, price go up.
Yep.
When doing that, when your stock price is already overinflated, according to their claims, that just forces the company to buy back their stocks at a massive loss to the tune of, like the comment here said, $56 million.
Yeah.
This is the one point in this entire lawsuit where I think there's something that's really concrete, but they have to prove that their stock value was overinflated at the time of purchase. And if we look... I should have pulled this up earlier.
You don't have the stock prices handy?
No, I want to pull up the 2022 sets that were out at that time. That was the year of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, Streets of New Capenna, Dominaria United, Brothers War, Innistrad double featured. So this was around the time of Brothers War. That these stock buybacks were going on. We were just off the heels of Dominaria United. People were kind of excited to go into the past history with Brothers War. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty was huge. Streets of New Capenna, while less huge, still a very well-liked set. And Dominaria United, not as beloved as previous returns, as a previous time in Dominaria, but still a very solid set with the beautiful stained glass art.
I was going to say, didn't that give us Shieldred the Apocalypse?
That did give us Shieldred the Apocalypse. That is true. So a run of fairly successful sets at the time. That was also when they were in the Universes Beyond Street Fighter Secret Lair. So this is not opening the floodgates with Walking Dead, but the first few volleys after that, and starting to push that a little bit harder. And that was also when they were starting to push more alchemy stuff on Magic Arenas with specific cards for arenas, adjustments like patch fixes to cards for the arena client as well. Thank you, Google Gemini. I hate that I type in a search and it defaults to Google Gemini, but the information was useful. I'll give him that. So the share prices, we're not finance guys. I like to imagine myself as a entrepreneur light person. I did a lot of business work in college. I have a minor in entrepreneurship from my studies.
And starting a podcast.
Technically a small business.
Yeah.
very low effort, very low reward, but a small business nonetheless. The proving that a stock price is artificially inflated is challenging in the best of circumstances.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say. Do you think that there is a case to be made that during that time frame, those sets, those products, could a reasonable argument be made that stock prices were inflated at the time?
I think so. I mean, they wouldn't even bring it up if it wasn't a possibility, right? Like, you know as well as I do, before you bring a lawsuit to somebody, you have to at least think you can win. You have to have some kind of evidence to put down and be like, look, I can prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, So I don't think they would just be drawing up a lawsuit if they were just trying to, get like something started. I think they have some kind of grounds. Now, whether or not they can win against Hasbro with their, I'm sure their legal team is tight-knit and ready. But, this might be a settle out of court thing.
I imagine it will. I don't think this is going to go to trial. The only reason I'm a bit skeptical, I think they're confident that they have some semblance of a case, but they really would want a jury to run on the verdict here.
Right. And this could be them just trying to get some money out of them.
Absolutely.
This could be, like I said, to settle out of court. They get some money, walk away. And Hasbro, well, they're not death grips on Wizards of the Coast sometimes. They've been making a killing on Monopoly. All right?
That is true.
Do not get it twisted. Monopoly has some of these people in a chokehold.
The last interesting bit that I want to bring up here, as it pertains to Magic, there are claims in the lawsuit pertaining to the Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary set. That was around the same time. They specifically claimed that, well, basically they released a very bad product and then lied about how it did and tried to obfuscate the fact that it did poorly. They made reference to the fact that Magic 30 product was found in dumpsters, not in dumpsters, in landfills in Texas where they were produced. And the very fact that they're 4 packs of fake cards that they promised to never reprint, so they had to make them proxies, and it was $1,000 a box. Yeah. It was a complete disaster. And then their post on Twitter saying the sale has concluded and the product is currently unavailable for purchase, trying to imply that it was sold out. But their claim is that they were not out of stock or sold out. They just didn't want it to look like it was worse of a situation. They had a claimed former employee of Wizards of the Coast that was unnamed so far in this lawsuit, stated that the company paused its sales of Magic Anniversary set less than an hour after its release, after only selling a portion of its available inventory, further noting that shortly after the set's release, he and other Wizards employees viewed photographs of Magic's anniversary set dropped off at a Texas landfill alongside older Magic product. Yeah. I would love to see if this goes to Discovery. I think Wizards of the Coast would be insane to let this go to Discovery, let alone trial.
Really starting to air out. That could be another thing. Maybe they're just trying to get a hold of some files or something, like to dig deeper.
Once it goes to Discovery and they're starting to get subpoenaed for documents, for emails, for communications, I think that's when you get the real juicy stuff.
I was excited. If it gets to that, we're gonna find out a lot of stuff.
I hold firmly to the belief that that will not be happening.
No, they do not. They probably don't want anyone anywhere near that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Wyatt, I do believe you have to part ways.
I do.
For the time being.
I do indeed.
Family calls, which is unfortunate.
It does. Family always calls.
That is true. Your wife had her birthday recently. Be sure I wish her a happy birthday on Facebook. Feel free to.
I appreciate that.
Give her my well wishes. Feel free to hop off now. I'm going to just, unless you have anything else you want to say about the lawsuit.
You know, I think it would be very juicy if they got to release any kind of like further details. Like if they actually were able to dig in and, you know, find some stuff, like that would be great. I think they'll have a pretty big challenge for them, though, if they want to try to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. I think this is more of a maybe settle kind of deal. I think that's what it'll turn into. I really think this is just going to be one of those things where people will maybe get their hopes up about, you know, Wizards finally getting to be on its own and do its own thing again. But you know, I just don't. I wouldn't give any hope to that. I think Hasbro pretty firmly needs them to continue the growth of the company. But
absolutely,
I would like to see them argue, you know, that what they're doing is currently hurting long-term Magic the Gathering.
I think they're going to get some preliminary hearings, and they're going to point to their recent success in the revenue and line go up and try and get it just kind of dismissed, or
I'm sure
settle it for a lesser amount. Wyatt, thank you very much for joining me today. You're a busy folk.
I am. Hopefully we can like get something done to get our schedules more in line with one another. I
would like that very, very much. You can pop out. I'm going to stay on here, do a second take, and I'm going to hit this this Marvel superheroes and Secrets of Strixhaven information. Just kind of do a little lore dump real quick in a second take.
Sounds great.
But thank you very much, and
as always,
God bless.
Excelsior.
Until 2 seconds from now.
Right.
He's kicked off. How dare he be a family man? You know, I thought I was family here. The show, all dozens of its viewers, the literal cents, the dollars we make. And for what? A wife? 2 lovely, amazing children? I don't know. I question the commitment. That's all I'm saying. I question his commitment a little bit. Anyway, I just want to stick on because we got one more piece of information. This dropped today as of the recording of this, January 27th. Originally on GameSpot, but then picked up by a whole bunch of other websites. Some information on the Secrets of Strixhaven set that will be coming after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, we're only in January, folks. Kind of ridiculous. As well as some information on the Marvel superhero set, because of course we didn't have enough of that already. You know, the most interesting bit of this article is its product pictures and descriptions of products and the kind of information that you would expect to get on a Wizards of the Coast news post, announcement post on their website. So it's interesting that this has been sent out to GameSpot of all people, and not like it's the kind of thing you would expect out of like a Marvel superheroes style set, you know. But to the Secrets of Strixhaven as well, it's interesting that they were allowing other outlets to make this post in the first place. There are some people that think it feels kind of like a "oops, I posted it early" kind of thing. I'm unsure. I'm not as convinced. I don't think GameSpot would let something like that slip by the goalie, as it were. But let's get into Secrets of Strixhaven, the Mystical Archives bonus sheet. One of the most popular parts of the previous Strixhaven set is going to be returning. We do not know what the list of cards being reprinted on that bonus sheet are, but we do know we are going to get the alternate Japanese language ones, as well as the classic English Mystical Archives cards. The one card we do know that's being reprinted from Ether Drift, of all places, stock up. A 2 and a blue sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You put 2 of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. A sleeper hit from the Ether Drift set that has been a staple in Standard. It has been played a bit in Modern. It's been played in Legacy and Vintage even as a super strong card draw spell for 3 mana. You're digging 5 deep and getting the 2 that you want if you're in a combo, if you're trying to get some powerful synergies online. Super great. The art on it, I think, is fantastic, both in the English Mystical Archives and the Japanese as well. They both look totally gorgeous. I'm sure this is going to be one of the better hits on the Mystical Archives, but I am excited to see what more we get. We found a mythic rare, the first Elder Dragon from the Secrets of Strixhaven, the Lorwyn. I got Lorwyn on the brain. It just came out. Lorehold the Historian. That is the Boros Elder Dragon. Flying haste. It's 3 red white for a 5/5 legendary Elder Dragon. Flying in haste. Each instant and sorcery card in your hand has Miracle 2. We're going to be getting at least one return of the Miracle mechanic. For those of you that don't know, you may cast a card for its Miracle cost. You may cast a card for its Miracle cost when you draw it, if it is the first card you draw this turn. So your first draw for a turn, if it has Miracle, you can play it for its Miracle cost, which is oft a reduced rate. Lorehold the Historian also comes packed with, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So on subsequent opponents' turns, in a game of Commander, for example, you get a card draw, the ability to draw a card on each of your opponent's turns. And Miracle, it doesn't care if it's your turn. It simply cares that it is the first card you draw on this turn. And being able to get that card draw trigger 3 times off on other people's turns in a game of Commander, it's 3 other opportunities to hit a cheapened Miracle spell for 2 mana. Interesting design space. I'm excited to see what the other 4 Elder Dragons have in store for us. Before we get into a fun card draw spell, I'm going to drink some water. It's almost empty, too. It's a shame. You get to stay hydrated out there, especially when it's so cold and dry in the world. In America, at least. It's very cold and very not humid. Drink plenty of water. I can ramble on for like 10 minutes at a time in a regular show, but when I'm by myself, suddenly I need to catch my breath. I need to take a drink of water. It's embarrassing. I need to learn how to talk by myself more, which is crazy. I've been doing it my entire life. I feel like a crazy person right now, talking to you. So there's one other Strixhaven card that we had revealed. Mathemagics. Rolls off the tongue. XX blue for a sorcery that says target player draws 2 to the power of X cards. Crazy design space. It does give a little bit of a cheat sheet in the reminder text here. 2 to the power of 0 is 1, 2 to the power of 1 is 2, 2 to the power of 2 is 4, 2 to the power of 3 is 8, 16, 32, so on, so on, so on. Ad nauseum. Not the card draw spell, but ad infinitum, I guess, would be more appropriate in this context. X can be 0, so it would be a 2 mana draw 1. Not great. Actively pretty bad, actually. X equaling 1 would be the next one. That would be a 4 mana draw 2. That's also not very good. But then when you get into X being 2, it's 6 mana draw 4. That one's much more reasonable. Then you get into 8 mana draw 8. That's really good. 10 mana draw 16. And then so on all the way up. Interesting. There's going to be some people that do some fuck shit with it, I can guarantee you. And I don't like doing that much math. You know? That's just me. I mean, we have cards that care about prime numbers. Zimone. Thanks for that one. So why not care about exponents and all that nonsense? Other than that, we will be getting a Strixhaven Draft Night bundle that is a total of 12 play booster packs meant to be pick 2 drafted with 3 of your friends, and then a collector booster pack that seems to be positioned as like a prize pack for the winner of said draft. We of course be getting a bundle, and then the Strixhaven Codex bundle, where you're going to get a foil land pack as well as 2 collector boosters, and the Codex booster promo cards is a set of 6 mana rocks with alternate arts. They are Soul Ring, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Curiosity, Talisman of Hierarchy, and Talisman of Resilience, all featuring students from Strixhaven. Interesting. For $90, 2 collector boosters and 6 play with a land pack, 2 promos. It's on the border. It's on the border. We'll be getting 5 Strixhaven precons for each of the schools in Strixhaven. Lorehold Spirit is a Boros deck led by Quintorius that cares about spirits leaving your graveyard, buffing them, and dealing massive damage. Prismari Artistry is a blue-red deck commanded by Rutha. The strategy casts powerful and expensive spells while also creating massive elementals with each cast. That'll totally go well in the elemental precon from Lorwyn as well. Quandrix Unlimited blue-green, commanded by my aforementioned Zimone. The strategy: flood the board with fractals, hydras, and other creatures with variable stats and pummel the opponent. This is for the math blasters, for the dorks. You would all be Cynic players. We love you, though. It's okay. Silver Quill Influence, Orzhov, white-black, commanded by Killian, using auras and other enchantments to make opposing creatures fight each other while you draw cards and grow more powerful. I love auras. I love enchanting other players' creatures with auras. And I love the idea of making them fight. I think we're going to maybe some goad stuff going on. Interesting to see goad possibly come back and not red. Interesting design space. Regardless, the last one, Witherbloom Pestilence, black-green, led by Dina. Create pests and strategically sacrifice them to gain life, draw cards, and drain your opponent before they can react. Some classic black nonsense. That's all for the Secrets of Strixhaven. The Marvel Superhero set, we didn't really get any interesting cards to show off, but we do have, of course, play boosters, collector boosters. We're getting the Marvel Superheroes bundle. We're getting a gift bundle that will have presumably some collector boosters and a different promo card. The Draft Night bundle, which I think is an interesting product. They need to lower the price on that. It shouldn't be over $100. It should not be over $100. The Draft Night bundle would be awesome at $90. It'd be awesome at $90. It'd be awesome at $100. 4 people, $25. You each get 3 play boosters, a shot at a collector booster. Sounds like a damn good time to me. Lower the damn price on the draft bundles. The superhero scene boxes. There's going to be 2 of them, $42 a box. One of them seems to be villains. One of them is heroes, of course. And then we're going to be getting 4 commander decks. We've heard about the Fantastic Four commander deck. We saw a little bit of that already. That is a Sans Black 4-color deck. Could be led by Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, Human Torch, or the Thing. Cares about non-creature spells and all of that. We are getting Avengers Assemble, which is a Jeskai featuring Captain America, Nick Fury on the box. We don't know who the commander is going to be necessarily. The strategy is grow your ranks, equipment, and counters, the same kind of stuff we saw out of Captain America previously. Wakanda Forever, white and green. We've seen Black Panther and Shuri on the box. Power up with artifacts and reign as the Monarch. The return of the Monarch feature. The Monarch ability. A fun commander ability. Big fan. And the last one, Doom Prevails, featuring Dr. Doom and Loki on the box. That is going to be a Grixis blue, black, red deck Connive for power and drain life. Conniving. Very cool. All of those precons are going to have collector variants available as well for $150. Ew, gross. I hate it. We will also be getting Jumpstart packs for $7 a pack. Jumpstart is, of course, 20 card packs where you get about 8 lands in them, and they're meant to be shuffled together. They represent archetypes. You shuffle them together, and then you have a 40 card ready to play basic deck that you can play against other Jumpstart decks. Jumpstart is awesome. Love it. We'll see how well the archetypes go here. And then the last one, the Marvel Superhero Beginner Box. Guided tour of Magic's gameplay. It's the stacked decks. You play through it in a certain order to learn how to do the game. Probably not going to be a whole lot of value there. Going to have a couple of Jumpstart packs in there. It features Iron Man and Captain America. But that is all we have for Secrets of Strixhaven. I just almost burped. That's all we have for Marvel Superheroes. That's all we have for Lawsuits, and that's all we have for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sneaking its way into Lorwyn. Still sad they got rid of that stamp. I don't know how to end this now. Because I usually have a whole bit with Wyatt or Sam or the both of them, whoever's here, play off of them for the end of the show, but I didn't think that through. I don't have that option anymore, which is a shame. But alas, thank you to Brandon Vole, our $15 a month Patreon subscriber. Gets his name right at the end of the show. He keeps the lights on here. The man, the myth, the legend. We love him very much. Give him all of the love in the comments. Please do. He deserves it. He's a very good guy. With all that being said, we love you very much. And as always, goodbye.